Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mariner Spirit. I am Greg, I'm your host, and before we start out the show, I normally start out with the people that I support and that, and I want to mention something before I start out with everything, and that's that, I want to go ahead and put a big thank you out to Katie and KD Stafford for supporting me and be not only them, but Kira Coffin too, and supporting me over the last so many years as far as my shows and my efforts that I put forth on their network. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't thank the people that gave them the opportunity to go ahead and work with them. And these are people that are my family. And I want to just throw out a big thank you and leave it at that. And then I would go ahead and talk basically about the people that I support. The first group is, again, I'm going to mention it again because I know the person I'm going to be talking about has been having a tough time about it, and that's Howard Petrie. And Howard Petrie is he's the one that started the Jessica Petrie Foundation, who was his daughter who died. And the Jessica Petrie Foundation is a resource for expecting mothers and families of pregnant women with mental illness. And Howard's been having a tough time, and he lost his daughter, and he's got a tough road down there in Louisiana right now. And if you get an opportunity to say a prayer, please do so. Okay, secondly is Photographs. That's Tim Miley. And Tim Miley is a fantastic guy, a paranormal investigator from up in Wisconsin. And I had the pleasure of meeting him at one of his events, one of his photograph events that was at Ashmore Estates. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe. But anyway, fantastic guy. Had a real bad situation between him and his dog, and he lost his dog. And he didn't know how he was going to go ahead and handle it. And as it turned out, he went ahead and just looked down, and he had a picture of himself and his dog. And he took that picture and he made a bunch of copies of on it because he was supposed to be going to a Paracon. And he ended up taking them to the Paracon. And what he did was he went ahead and they gave him a table, and he sat there and he started collecting donations for not only his pup, but for this new foundation he was creating for basically helping shelters with their animals. And that's where he came up with the name of Photographs. And once again, he's a great guy. Now, him and his wife Lauren are doing a great job this year again, and they're fantastic people. And if you get the opportunity to go to one of his events, be sure to say hi for me. Thirdly is PKC, Paranormal Kicks Cancer, with Chris Gaskowski and Alex Wilkinson and Wilkerson. And they're from down in Florida. And they do basically the same thing everybody else does as far as charities are concerned. They do a lot of haunted houses, and they do a lot of their own events. And what they do is all the money that they raise for cancer research. And they've been around for quite some time now. I met them a long time ago on a podcast that I was doing with a friend of mine down in Old South Pittsburgh. And Ronnie D brought some people in that were investigating that night, and we had a great show, and we talked to them, and I got to meet them, and it was like, wow, these people are really doing something really, really good. And it was like, it's time to go ahead and give them some attention. And that's what I've been doing. And after the people that I support, I talk about the people that I basically go ahead and the people that are authors in the books, and the books that I think are ones that, can go a long way in the paranormal community. And the authors are, and I'm just going to read their names. We got Bruce Holiday, we got Tobias Wayland, we got Adam Benedict, we got Kathy Kressel, we have Barnaby Jones, we have Sherilyn Cotter, we have Dr. Heatherly Langdon, we have Lynn Monet, we have Ron Iacovetti, we have Victoria Munday, we have Tony Rathman, we have Natalie Jones, Patty Negri, Sylvia Schultz, Amelia Cotter, Rex Nielsen, David Sloan of Robert the Doll fame, and Christina Bloom. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring my guests on tonight. We have Jamie Lynn Cotter and Chris Hart.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
How's it going? You guys are getting excited now? Everything's coming to fruition, and it's going to happen pretty quick. You all set?
Less than 2 months away.
Yep, coming up quick.
Have you guys
Sure
made
is.
any changes with what we were talking about last time? Is everything on course and steaming ahead at full bore?
Yep, no changes as of right now.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we've got everything pretty much streamlined. And we'll talk about that a little bit as we go on.
Okay. But it's great seeing you guys. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And,
You too.
you're two people that, have made the community up in Wisconsin what it is today, I think. And that has to be addressed, and people have to understand what kind of commitment one makes to go ahead and do a Paracon. So if you went ahead and just gave a little background to that, that's how we'll start out.
Good, Jimmy, you start.
Thanks. Put me on the spot. All right.
You're the one that's from Wisconsin, not me.
Oh,
Okay,
you're from.
so
That's why he's got a
let me
Cubs jersey on.
let me get this straight. You want to talk about the Unity part of it, or you want to talk about the Paracon part of it?
The Paracon part of it.
All right. So, Chris, do you want to start on how this evolved? Because you started this on your own last year with a couple of your team members?
Yeah, so it evolved just by my team doing regular investigations, and we wanted to expand on it. So I decided I wanted to do some kind of event, and I want to do something different that hasn't been seen in the paranormal. So it gave change to people, and it wasn't the same thing going to all these other ones. So I decided I wanted to bring music involved with it. And most people that are into the paranormal are mostly into rock music. So I decided I want to do an event where we hold a concert and a Paracon at the same time. And going from there, I had a rough time coming up with the name for the Paracon. I just didn't want to call it, Paranormal Paracon or Paranormal Con, anything like that. I wanted to be different. So sitting around watching the paranormal TV shows and everything, was watching the TV show called Paranormal Lockdown, and it just clicked in my head to call it Paranormal Rockdown. So then the first year we did it, I had 3 bands play at a local bar in the area over by Edinburgh Manor where we held the actual event. It wasn't a full Paracon. We only had 3 special guests. We had Nick and Aaron from 28 Days Haunted and Larry Eisler. Kind of took off from there. I mean, we had a lot more people show up for the bands than for the Paracon type paranormal investigation, but it was a quick one. Didn't spend a year planning like we are with this one, so decided to go all out, and we've pretty much quadrupled it in size.
So,
Easily quadrupled.
so how this is going to be really massive,
Yeah,
isn't it?
We're hoping so.
Now, as far as I know, the venue starts with the concerts night, right? So is that Friday night?
Yeah.
that's a yes and no to that answer. Because we are gonna have the concert at a separate location at Main Street Events, which is about 15 minutes from Broadhead. But for those people that don't want to go to the concert or aren't into the rock music, you can join the mini investigations that we're having at Broadhead. There's going to be 2 special mini investigations with some of our guests leading those investigations.
That's awesome.
And everything is starting at 4 p.m. Is that correct, Chris? Is that when the concert's starting as well?
Correct. First band goes on the stage at 4 p.m. and then at Broadhead, our first investigation starts at 4.
Yep.
And
And
that-
tickets are available now for everything that we're speaking of.
And is that Friday night?
That's Friday night, correct.
So Saturday is going to be the actual vendors, correct?
Yep,
Yes,
vendors, the guests,
the vendors-
speakers.
Yep, that all starts at 11 a.m. The actual vendors and speakers and stuff start at 11, and that runs until 5. And we'll have gallery readings. We'll have the speakers. We'll have a couple workshops. We're even going to have somebody doing intuitive painting. You can get tarot card readings. You can get a massage. You can buy crystals. There is so much that's going to be offered. You can meet teams, and if you want me to go through some of the guests, I can definitely do that because we've got quite
Sure.
the lineup.
Sure, that would be great.
We're not going to put these in any specific order because to us, paracelebrity or paracelebrity not, we're all equal. We're all interested in this field. We all want to be a part of it. Everybody on this flyer has a passion for it. So we're not playing favorites in any way, shape, or form. So I'm going to just mention a few. So maybe 10 of them because this flyer has about 30 of them. Okay. We have Ashmore Estates. We have Christina Bloom. We have almost half of the Beacon crew joining us, which is amazing. We are so excited that Stream Beacon TV is going to be with us along with Dark Realm TV. These are both stations on TV through an app that you can watch strictly paranormal and true crime things along with cryptid things. So incredible apps for enthusiasts like us. We have Dave Schrader. We have Sarah Lamos. We even have people like Stormy Daniels and Chad Lindbergh Sam Baltrusis, Kenneth Drake, Kat Armstrong, Larry Eisler. And I'm going to leave it there because, again, there's how many other ones, and we are just beyond excited that most of these people are joining us. We even have Dustin Perry via Zoom. He's doing a presentation and a live Q&A for us. So quite the lineup.
Yeah,
Quite the lineup.
Dustin's really a wild guy. I at that photographs event that I was at, I was with him for about maybe 2 hours, and we were just shooting them, at the end of it, and just had a
He
great
is
time.
so funny.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he really is. He's top notch. He's very inspirational. He's always on the go, and he would give you the shirt off your back.
And the only reason
He's
I'm
genuinely
mentioning
a
him,
good man.
the only reason I mentioned him was he was the last one that you said. And if I tried to remember 3 back, that would be pretty hard for me. Except for Sam. And then I could say Sam Beltrusis because,
Yeah,
I've been wanting to meet him for a long, long time.
yeah,
And
I'm a Sam fan all the way. I'm a fan of everybody on the flyer. Not a single one of them I don't like. So I'm very lucky because the only people I haven't met on the flyer are, I think, 3 of them. There's only 3 people on 4, 5. Yeah, I'm looking. There's only 5 people on the flyer that I haven't met, and yeah, that's the final count. So I'm excited to hang out with friends, and I want to be very clear about this. And I know I'm talking a lot, but I know this is a Paracon, but this Paracon is at Broadhead Manor. Every Paracon or event that I have assisted with at Broadhead Manor, yes, it's been a Paracon or an event, but it's almost felt like a family get together or a family reunion because everybody has such a great time. That building, that place, Bill Walter makes everybody feel like they're at home. So it's a lot of fun. It's not like any other Paracon that I've been to. I got goosebumps because I just love it. It's just a great time.
I got the opportunity to talk to him the other night, and we were I can't remember, we were on something, and
Yeah.
some show, and I went ahead. It was okay. We were giving Christina Bloom was leaving Res,
Oh yeah.
and you were there, weren't you?
I popped into the chat.
Yeah, you said hi, I think.
Yep.
And you know, and Bill was there, and Bill went ahead and said some stuff, and I went ahead and I said, "Wow," I said, it's like old home week, because Bill is the guy that makes you feel like you're at home when you're around Broadhead, and
Absolutely.
we were all there from the beginning, and it was great to be able to be part of that and watch Bill grow and all the work he's put into the place and the whole entire not only the effects but the atmosphere that's been created with the spirits is all positive. And that's something that there's not a lot of locations across the United States that you could say that actually happens at. And if there something goes on, Bill is the one that will address them.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something that crawls in, or if you got an elemental or something that's been, and I guess that's what he was talking about that night, was one of those elementals. But it was interesting. What, Chris, how long you've been investigating that place from the very beginning too, right?
No, I haven't. I've only actually truly investigated there 3 times now. So I've only really been to Broadhead within the last 2 years.
But you mentioned Edinburgh.
Yeah, Edinburgh. Edinburgh was my first location I ever investigated with my team. And that's where I did the first paranormal rock down.
Edinburgh is a great location.
Yeah, I love that place. I don't know if I
Definitely.
love it because of the activity there, or if I just love it because it's the first time I've ever been to a location. That was it.
How many people did
Your
you have
first
with you?
love.
Your
Yep.
first love. Yeah. How many people did you have with you?
At that time, I had 4 other people. No, 5 other people. So it was a team of 6.
That's twice what we had. We went in
Yeah.
there with 3 people, and we did the overnight, and we ended up where they were going to go ahead and stay in the house behind.
hmm
Hmm.
If I would have known, I would have brought my sleeping bag and
Hmm.
just used that instead, because that's the easiest way to handle that situation. But so have you done a lot of locations in Iowa?
No, that's the only one that I've done in Iowa is Edinburgh.
So are you a Chicago guy?
Yeah, I'm like an hour from off the Iowa border.
Okay. I'm sure that we talked about this before, and I just forgot because
Yeah.
I've got to that stage now with enough meds from the VA that you end up losing half of your mind. I don't know if it's the good part or the bad part that I lost, but anyway, it's wonderful to know that there's 2 great people that are running this event, and you guys, you know you dot your I's and you cross your T's. And I've seen Jamie Lynn in action quite a few times, and she leaves no stone unturned, which is really great when it comes to going ahead and taking care of whether it's her booth or anything else. And
Hmm. Thank you.
it's been one of those things. So besides just investigating, do you do anything else in the paranormal as far as a, a paracon's concerned? You're not gonna have a table there, of course. If you
Me
were
or
going to
Chris?
Chris,
There will be a table just to sell like the rock down t-shirts and stuff like that. And then
okay,
we're gonna have like the banners for the event. We're gonna have those. We're gonna have somebody running the booth so that everybody that was a guest at the event could sign the banner, and then we're gonna raffle that off for the money going back to Broadhead.
awesome,
Hmm.
great
And that's
idea.
going to be located. That's going to be located right at the concession stand.
Yeah.
So
We're,
it'll
we're,
be
we're,
readily available. Anybody that walks up to the concession stand, it's going to be a non-miss. We want everybody to sign it.
is that going to be where Bill's nuts are?
Yep.
Yes, yes, they are.
Okay.
In their very own nut sacks.
So
Just saying.
as far as the bands are concerned, because there's probably going to be quite a few people that are going to be going to that. Are they? I don't know about the bands myself, so if you want to mention to them again as far as the names of them are concerned.
Yeah, so they're pretty much all local bands to the area. So Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa area, they're all pretty much local bands except for our headliner. We got the band called January. They're probably our youngest and newest band that's out there. We got the band called Again We Rise. We have the Fiction We Create, Left on Red, Etched in Embers. They're actually returning. They actually played the first Paranormal Rock Down, and they loved it. They had a good time investigating with us, so they decided they wanted to make a return. And then our headliner is Green Jelly, which they were big in the late 80s and early 90s with their Three Little Pigs song. They're coming all the way out from California to join us. They actually kind of built a tour around this because I've had them booked for about a year now, and they're actually playing 3 shows in Wisconsin that weekend. So we're
Wow,
excited to have them.
That'll be really,
And then
really neat too.
Switchblade Saturdays.
Yes, Switchblade Saturdays as well. They've been doing a lot of touring with a lot of people in the rock community. You'll know Ice Nine Kills. They've opened for them a lot of times. So they're definitely gonna get their name out there with touring with a band like that. So we definitely wanted to get them booked before they blow up and are costing thousands of dollars to play it.
Well, that's the way it happens, right? Is it every time? That's nonstop.
Exactly.
It's usually the way it goes. You know, some of the bands that were around, you know, when Morrison was playing way back in the day, it's the same thing. Everybody rode the wave.
Yep. Well, that's like I remember the days when I was going to all my concerts. I used to go to like 2-3 concerts a week when I was a lot younger, and before the band Disturbed blew up, I was good friends with the band Disturbed and was paying $5-10 to go see them at local venues. And
Wow.
now you're lucky to pay $200 to go see them in concert. They're opening big arenas and burning down Chicago Bulls flags when they play. They recently played Chicago, and their pyrotechnics burned the Chicago Bulls banners on the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Oops. Well, and there was such a good turnout for this last year, you know, that even some of the band members actually came and joined in the investigation that night, and they were pretty much blown away. So that was really cool to see, because I wasn't there for the bands, but I was there for the investigation, and it was pretty remarkable.
Yeah. And the cool thing is too, I mean, Etched in Embers, when they played it and investigated, they did a bunch of photos inside Edinburgh, and those photos that they took at Paranormal Rockdown are actually their promo pictures for their new album and promoting the band now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, that's really
You know,
cool.
and again, those bands are going to be playing at a Main Street venue in Brooklyn, Wisconsin on Friday, January 18th. And when you're not, or if you're not interested in the bands, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, but some people just aren't into it, and they'd rather, you know, go to Broadhead and be parts of the mini investigations. There's going to be 2 different ones. There's going to be one from 4 to 7, and then one from 8 to 11. And we've got a bunch of our headliners and sponsors and stuff that are going to be leading those investigations, and the tickets are on sale now at paranormalrockdown.com. So jump in on it while you can, because it's only I think $25 a person, and you cannot investigate Broadhead for any less than that.
Yeah, with the tickets and fees, it's $25.
That's amazing.
I've never seen the price that low before. So you'd be very fortunate to get in, especially with the people that are going to be leading those investigations.
How many vendors are you guys going to have?
About 40.
Yeah, I think that was the count, like 40 something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Which is a lot.
Do you have any ones that people would be really interested in? I mean, really, really interested. You know, like if are there, you're going to have a bunch of, you mentioned metaphysical people or not?
Well, yeah, we've got Jack, metaphysical. I mean, we have like Jessie Hawthorne. She's very into the metaphysical. Well, and so is Kat Armstrong. You know, quite a few of these people are. And we also have those that are into like the cryptids and things like that, like Bobby Resnick and Jack Chavez. So, I mean, we do have quite the range of people.
Yeah.
You're going to have Jack's going to be there?
Yeah, Jack is going to be there. And in fact,
go ahead.
In fact, we got an invite to go to a Paranormal Chicago conference on June, I believe it's June 7th. So Chris and I will be there at a table.
That's awesome.
On that Saturday.
We might have a special guest there too. with
Yeah,
us.
but we're not disclosing that, yes. But
It's top
fingers
secret.
crossed. It is top
It,
secret.
we were part of my old original group when I was with the Ghost Research Society on the south side of Chicago. We were there and for the first one that he had, and I thought it was really amazing. Then what he put together for his first one, and he did it basically by himself.
Ex-
He's a great guy.
He is. He's incredible. We reach out to each other here and there and everywhere, and Jack is just an overall great guy with a wealth of knowledge. And in fact, Chris and I were Facebook friends, but last year at the Chicago Paracon is the first time that I met Chris in person. I went running up to you and I'm like, I know who you are.
Yep.
Gave him a hug, and we've been sidekicks ever since. I didn't give him a choice but to let me help him with the rock down.
You didn't give
And
him a
now he's
choice.
wishing he could get rid of
This is
me.
true.
You don't have a chain and a ball on you, do you?
Not yet. After Rockdown, I might though.
Well,
Okay.
no, I gotta say, I push him pretty hard. I'm constantly, when are you, can you please, here's the spreadsheet, here's your to-do list, here's my to-do list. So I'm on Chris, and I feel bad for it sometimes, but I'm an organization freak, and I want this event, and so does he, to be one of the best that Broadhead has seen so far, and I want it more so for the community and for Broadhead Manor. So I'm being selfish.
It's a great location too. I mean, that helps make it. I mean, I've never had a boring time there for the times that I've been there. And there's been times that we were there. It was me and my partner and one or two other people, and then Bill. And everything went crazy. The whole night was like that. It was just absolutely insane. And that's good, because they know us now. And everybody that comes in that's been there before has a they know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the janitor or the guy that works downstairs, but I like the people upstairs. I like the third floor. What's your favorite floors?
I'd say the third floor is mine too. From all the activity I had up there, the most interaction I've had is on the third floor.
And I have to say, the janitor's area / boiler room. That's the only time I really had oh shit, that was cool. It's the only time I've ever said that, because it just floored me at what happened. It was like 4 consecutive things, one right after another, and unexplainable. So it was cool.
You're going to have a bunch of people from Central Illinois coming up too, aren't you?
We've got people coming, a whole busload of people coming from Texas. We've got people coming from Massachusetts, Las Vegas. We've got people coming from all over the United States to be here at the Rockdown.
Texas.
Yeah.
Texas. Yeah.
We're at in Texas.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know where
I can't remember.
Is
a lot of them are coming from EVP. EVP invited a lot of people, and a lot of their friends and stuff are buying tickets and coming down.
That's I have an association with, I'm a Texas Wraith hunter, so I hang around with Anthony, and Anthony's group is just the same way. If they were going to do something like that, they would do it in a heartbeat. But they're from he's in San Antonio now. So
Gotcha.
I was there, last year or the year before? I think it was
Yeah.
last year, wasn't it? I think I went, and we did 11
Yeah. Last fall.
investigations. 11 investigations in 3 days, nonstop. I got off
One
the
after
airplane.
another after another.
I got off the airplane at 11 o'clock that night, and he just picked me up at the airport. And we went, we went right out. We never even
Oh, that's
bothered to
awesome.
drop anything off. We just went right out, and we went to the forest.
I want to say one thing real quick too. I mean, I just realized the chat down there that people are commenting. Dawn's in the chat. I want to thank Dawn too. Dawn's been helping us a lot in the background too with the Paranormal Rockdown, with booking our guests for the podcast and all smaller stuff. I want to thank her for helping us as well.
That's awesome. And maybe I'll
Well, and
be able
everybody,
to meet her too when
yeah,
we get there.
everybody that's sharing it out, that's, interested in coming, that's, there's people, that I'm seeing that, I handed a couple flyers to, and they've been handing them out. And Annie had we sponsored Booze on the Battleship, even though Chris and I couldn't go. Annie was there on our behalf and, hung our banner and handed out flyers. We've got a lot of great people helping us.
Which battleship?
USS South
North
Carolina, North
South
Carolina,
Carolina.
North Carolina.
North
So
Carolina.
it
Yeah,
was over on the coast,
yeah.
or
Yeah, and she's doing it again next year too. Same ship and same location.
Sure
the
is.
only thing I'll say about that is that you have to be really careful. I'm not that big of a guy because I'm like 5'8", 5'9",
Yeah,
but
whacking your head.
the bulkheads are very unforgiving.
Yep.
Yeah,
And if you see some of the films of how those guys went up and down those staircases under, general quarters, it was crazy. And I know
right.
my dad did it, and he would always talk about the fact about how he learned real fast the first time. He got like 10 stitches. And there's not like you can just stop and, go get stitched up, and he ended up going right out. So I
Well,
have. Go ahead.
I'm just saying I've never been there, but I've seen the pictures and I've heard people talk about it.
So
And oh gosh,
absolute.
you're bad.
I really want to do one or two battleships. Carrier wise, San Diego, we always did. Jenny Davis is here. Hi, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see her. It's been a hard time.
Well, and
Long time.
and being that we're talking about it, I would like to do a big shout out to Katie McVeigh, because she is a sponsor of our event. And even though she's not on the flyer, you will be able to meet her at the Paranormal Rockdown. She's definitely coming up for it. So we're glad to have her. And again, it's that a family type of thing. She sponsored us, we're sponsoring her. I've been going to a great event, the Cajun Country Paracon. We're sponsoring them next year, and they're in turn promoting our event down there. So it's events helping out other events and just building this community up, not dragging it down. And
So
that's what we like.
where is their event at?
The Cajun Country Paracon, that's in
Yeah,
Lafayette.
Indiana.
No, Louisiana.
Oh, Louisiana.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, not being that we're on that subject as well, a lot of people don't know me, but a lot of people do know me because I've really put myself out there the last 2 years. Gone to more than 4 dozen places. And I became a solo investigator shortly after my team formed for reasons that I'm not going to discuss. You know, my daughter had medical issues, things like that, so it just didn't work out. And I found myself still wanting to go to these places, but not being able to afford to do it on my own. So I put myself out there, and I have met so many great, incredible people. And even with working with, you know, Christina and her Moonbow event last year, her metaphysical thing, and helping with the fundraiser, doing the fundraiser to, you know, raise funds for the roof, throwing that mini pop-up Paracon. I brought a lot of people to Broadhead, and people that normally I wouldn't have met. And it's really expanded me and expanded those people. You know, Eternal Paranormal, hardly anybody heard of them, and now they're really getting out there. They're doing a lot of different events. They're hosting public events now. Same thing with Phantasm Paranormal. You know, they're hosting events, and you know, it's just a whole bunch of us. You know, 6 of us stayed at, you know, the same Airbnb, whether it be Christina Bloom or Vanessa Starin, or you know, it's just evolving. You know, it's like that spider web, and we find our little niche. And Broadhead Manor has done that for so many people. It's been incredible. So I can't shout that out enough.
And I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what she just said. I mean, kind of what she said is the reason
Yeah.
that we're doing this, and it's for people to meet together, kind of brainstorm ideas, come up with new ideas, stuff like that. We're not doing this event to make money, anything like that, because we're not making any money. We're lucky if we're breaking even on this. So it's just for everybody to unite, and kind of like earlier, it's kind of like a family reunion. We're trying to make family bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the
And we
people
might not
that
be
are
the
in the,
biggest, you know, we might not be the biggest, and we might not be the best, and that's not what we're trying to achieve. You know, what we're trying to achieve is the family orientation part of it. You know, bringing everybody together and having a good time.
yeah, you know, you guys got big hearts, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it. You know, there's none of that other stuff really carried. I mean,
No, it's not a popularity
Chicago,
contest for us.
you know, the Chicago Paracons that I was at, that I was involved with, you know, back in the day before they quit, they were great,
Mm-hmm.
great events, but there were certain people that fit, and then there were other people that didn't, and they didn't really care, like what you guys are talking about. This is more
Mm-hmm.
of a unit. This is like a family, and you can go ahead and go back and say stuff. Here's Shaw Woman. Shaw Woman's in here. Ann's in here. You know,
Yeah.
these are people that I've known Shaw Woman for a few years now. Ann Wilkie
Aw,
was just I just met her uh last last fall, I
Christina's.
think.
Oh.
Uh
Well,
she
and I
came
want to
on
give
too.
Anne, yeah, I'm going to give Anne a shout out right now because her team is a huge part of the event as well. She is a sponsor with her team, Phantasm Paranormal, and she is helping lead one of the mini investigations on Friday night. So I love her to death.
She's a great
Without
girl.
her, there's places that I never would have gone. So I adore her.
Well, just as long as you don't get your hair set on fire, which is pretty neat,
No,
right?
no, no.
You know, we went out, we did Trans Allegheny, and then we did the hospital, the old hospital on College Hill, and then we were both in
Okay.
West Virginia, and we just did that in April, and
Oh,
they were that the group that was at Trans was the same kind of group of people as what we have here. You know, there was nobody that thought they were any better or anything like that. You know what I mean? Everybody was all, if you had a question, you could ask anybody the question you wanted, and everybody was always willing to help you in any way, shape, or form if there was some issue.
love that.
You know, like, oh, I didn't bring my batteries. You know what I mean? There's just little stuff like that, and people go, "Hey, Eric, come here." And of course, they were
Exactly.
the ones that had that big ammunitions, the 50 caliber ammunition box that was filled with batteries that weighed about
I'll feel that.
250 pounds.
Oh, crazy. Well, and Greg, it's really ironic that you said trans Allegheny because I was invited to go there myself. And I finally confirmed that about an hour, maybe 2 hours ago. And I let Ann Wilkie and her team know that I was going to be able to go with them. So it's
Oh,
pretty ironic that, we're talking about Ann and that, she's doing all this. And then all of a sudden you bring up trans.
they have a
Crazy.
they have a top quality group of guides because that place is so big. You know, they'll take groups and they'll show them different floors before, and then you're on your own. You know, and it's unbelievable, that place.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
You know, all the other places, are pretty close, but it's that extra care that goes that extra mile that makes people happier. And
Yeah,
everybody, you go to the break room and everybody's talking. That never used to happen. Everybody
no.
was in their
A
own
lot of
little
places it doesn't.
cluster, and
Mhm.
that's the good thing, and it's great. And so during the event, about when the actual Paracon and the vendors and everything happened, you said that there's going to be concessions open, and that's where Bill's old bar was, right?
Yeah,
That's been double
yes,
extended now. So what are they going
correct.
to have there for everybody besides his nuts?
Well, well, unfortunately, we had a little bit of a problem getting food trucks. We've reached out to over a dozen and have had no luck. And unfortunately, Bill doesn't have a food license for the building or for himself. So we're very limited as to what we can have to offer. So you will be
Oh,
able to get some food there. We'll be offering a Fat Boys Pizza. You can buy it by the slice. You'll be able to get cheddar wurst and hot dogs. You'll also be able to get nachos and popcorn and chips. But we're
well,
limited at that right there. So
they
there
don't.
is food.
As long as it's
But we
not,
also
you're
want
not talking 5 course meals.
no.
Who wants
And
to do
we
that?
are going to be having exactly. And there will be a gap between um, the Paracon and the investigation of 2 hours. So anybody that wants to go out and support the local businesses, we highly suggest you doing so. And there are a lot of great places that people can go, if by chance they don't want to eat what we have to offer. So,
And,
but
and,
I
and
do want to talk about, go ahead, Chris.
I was just gonna say, I want to say during that hour, the 2 hour gap, a lot of the
Mhm.
places down there that sell the food are bars. I'm just telling you, don't go and get lit and then try to come back to doing the investigation, because if you're lit, you're not coming in.
Right.
Yep,
It's a good,
absolutely
very, very good
not.
point. I know.
Well, and well, that brings me, do you mind if I discuss something else real quick, Greg?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, there's some things that we didn't highlight about the Rock Down that I'd like to highlight real quick, is that
Okay.
we are offering 2 different gallery readings. Okay. Possibly a third. But that's up in the air. But during the Paracon, there's going to be 2 gallery readings, one by Marilyn Bass and the other one by Sarah Lamos. Those tickets are available online as well. We're going to have a live Dustin Perry Q&A and presentation. We're going to have a Mike Galliano comedy show that's going to be available. Kat Armstrong is going to be doing one of her workshops. In between that downtime between 5 and 7, you're also going to be able to see Mr. Scotty Rourke and his matching game show. So that's going to be a lot of fun for anybody that hasn't seen one of those before, it is hilarious. And it is such a good time. So you'll be able to see that if you would like to. So, I mean, we do have a variety of things that are going to be happening along with the speakers and speaker times. So we're excited. We're very excited. And then Friday evening, that's when the big, long investigation is going to go from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. You are able to investigate with a bunch of our, again, highlighted guests and or very well-known teams in the area. So, woo, we're excited. We're very, very excited. And you'll be able to investigate 5 different locations within the building. Sam Beltrusis will be doing his seance during that time. And it took me a lot to convince Bill to allow a seance to occur in his building because he was a firm, this is never going to happen. No, 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 no. And finally, Bill allowed it. And let me tell you, it was one of the best experiences that a lot of people had, including Bill. So Bill is welcoming it back with open arms. You can ask anybody that went to it last year, and they absolutely loved it. So we're very fortunate that Sam is willing to come out and do it again. Even Sam says he has to come back to Broadhead. It's family. It's calling him back. That he's always on board with whatever we choose to do. So we're just elated.
Great gentleman.
Extremely. So do you have any questions about the Rockdown, Greg, that we can answer, or anybody in chat?
Yeah. Once you guys, if you have questions for our lovely guests, please not. Of course, Chris isn't lovely, but he's a guy.
Oh, he's so pretty. He put on his favorite lipstick for us today.
Yep.
Oh, no,
just kidding.
Just if you guys do have questions, please go ahead and put it in the comment section. We can go ahead and read them out. I'm just pretty excited about the fact that I'll be able to see people like Sam because, he's been on my show and things like that. And we've always had a great connection. He's friends with Becky Evans quite a bit. And Becky's a lovely lady. And she's part of the groups that I have on Wednesday night, and
yeah.
And I think that I'm going to I hope that I'll be able to go ahead and do a couple Estes when I'm there, but I'll wait and see how it goes. I know we're not, it's going to be me. So.
Right. Well, we'll talk more about that. And we'll see, what we can and cannot do to accommodate your ITC, even as solo. We'll give her a shot.
Or I could get a volunteer.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that after.
Sure. That's awesome. So I know you're not feeling really peachy keen, right? And we're at 9:59.
Yeah, I had some surgery done and it was my lower back. So just this whole sitting here thing is kind of hard for me. But I do have to do one more thing before we even consider closing this out.
Okay.
And that is to thank, I want to do this for just about every podcast that we're on. And that's to thank our sponsors, because without them and without the guests and the attendees that are coming, none of this would be possible. So I want to give a shout out to each one of them, if you don't mind, Greg.
Sure, go ahead.
And I mentioned them before, and that is Katie McVeigh with Tamerlin Media, Boo Bitches Paranormal Party Wisconsin, which is me, and then Ann Wilkie Phantasm, and then Ann and Betsy from Lotus Witch Paranormal. Then we have Hot Headed Radio. We have Larry Eisler with Small Town Productions. We have the Bearded Brothers, which we're very thankful for because those big bearded guys are going to be offering security at the manor. They're actually going to go there in a few weeks to get the whole rundown with Bill and get educated. And, we're excited for them. Eternal Paranormal, and that's Alicia and Derek and Tiff and her husband and stuff. We have Unturned Pages, which is Jenny Davis and Alicia. We have our newest, and that's Jody Den with Survivor Angels. So excited to have her. We've got Para with a Normal, Mike Galliano and Marilyn Bass. And then we've got Stream Beacon TV, which is Josh Purvis, Shane Pittman, and I can't remember the other gentleman's name that owns it. But all those guys that decided to jump on board and be with us. So just a sincere thank you to each and every one of them. And I know Chris wants to do the same thing.
Yeah, definitely want to thank everybody. It's turned out to be an amazing event, and without all your guys' help and sponsoring it definitely wouldn't be possible. I mean, it turned this into something bigger than I thought it could be, and I'm hoping that everybody has a great time.
Well, you guys are dreaming big, and it's going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Greg,
Yes.
do you mind if we go over? Do you mind if we go over an hour, or do you want to?
No,
do you have to stick to this hour?
No, it's up to you. It's you know.
Well, I just see Jim asked another question in the chat here, talking about some cool things I felt and heard at locations, and I'm going to bring up Melver Manor. I felt something pretty incredible there, and I've since people have told me that I'm an evidential medium, okay? And I tend to close myself off. It's not something that I want to feel because I'm not one of these people that can shut these things down, and I harbor those feelings. And I've tried time and time again not to. But at Malvern Manor once, I was put into a room. I was there with some great friends of mine, and she said, tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what you're experiencing, and I sat there, and all of a sudden my hair, it began like burning and like pins and needles all on the right side of my head. And then all of a sudden I had like, when you like cry and you cry so hard, your chest hurts and you can't catch your breath. I felt that. And I finally said, okay, I'm done. I need to, stand up, get out. Well, here, that's where the woman was left. She was dropped off by her husband because I don't remember the reason. I think it was he thought she, had too much to handle, whatever. And she was pretty much dying of heartache. She would sit there and cry, and she would pull her hair out, So that was really cool to experience. But I don't like experiencing those things. Hi, Marilyn. We just got done talking about you. Marilyn's in chat here, and she's going to be offering that gallery reading, and she's also going to be doing the intuitive painting. And she's got some pretty cool things at her table that she sells too, along with a paranormal rock down shirt with a para with a normal combined. So you can order those on their website. Just visit their Para with the Normal Facebook page, and it'll take you right to parawithanormal.com, I think it is. And you can order the Rock Down Para with a Normal t-shirt. Sorry, I got off track, Jim.
Yeah, it's a great looking shirt. Even if you're not going to buy one, just go to the website and check it out. It's an awesome shirt.
It is. I bought in a couple of them. So
she's an amazing woman too.
Oh, she's incredible. We love her. And then
she has to be incredible dealing with Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Ain't that the truth? You mean Steve, right?
No, Mike.
Steve. He doesn't get it.
Okay. The other night I was talking to Michael, and that's the first time I got a chance to talk to him, and I had seen him in action, and it was like, you know, I had to go ahead and sort of put it all together because there's a method to the madness.
Yeah.
And for somebody from the outside looking in, at first, all they see is the comedian, and they don't
Yep.
understand the person. And that
Nope.
is the first mistake. And Michael's, he's just, I even where I'm at in my age, I make mistakes myself, and I
Mm-hmm.
prejudge like anybody else does. And he's one of those people that I'm glad to say that we had a great time, and I consider him a friend now. Where before it was like, well, he's just another JoJo, but I come from a different period,
Well,
you know,
well,
time wise.
exactly. Well, and he went through, he'll say it himself, this is a community that's welcomed him and his differences and the goofiness and the weirdness and the strangeness that he is, has welcomed him with open arms. And he feels like it's family, that he's finally got his calling, that it's okay for him to be his genuine self, so he's taken off flying, and I'm fortunate enough like you to be able to call him a friend.
Yeah. And when I look
So,
back at it, I go ahead and I think, poor Mary Lynn.
right? Right?
And that's,
She
and
can
that's
put up
meant,
with him. She can put
all
up
that's
with
meant is
anybody.
in the humorous end. Okay. There's nothing bad about it.
Hmm.
It's just that it was like,
No.
boy, to make a pair, you always have to have almost the opposites,
Hmm.
to have a good pair.
Well, in Louisiana, just for example, we were in Vermilionville, which has a whole bunch of different housing units and stuff inside of it that were relocated and whatnot. And I was with his group, and we went to the chapel, and not much was happening at the chapel until I have an online boyfriend who I met the very first time that night, which was Adam Ramos. I'm like, come on, Adam, we're getting married. Well, Michael Galliano pretended to be the officiant, and he married us. We walked down the aisle, and he said, "May the spaghetti gods, right, fall down upon you." And long story short, Adam took my last name, and we sat down, and shortly thereafter, asking the questions and stuff, we started getting responses. So just that light, airy, have a good time, that positive energy, does so much for an investigation. So his techniques may be a little different, but they work in their weird little way. So
If if if
gotta
if
love the guy.
if the spirits like to hear Prince songs, that's all I'll say. Anything is
Exactly.
possible. Anything is possible. But that's
Exactly.
that's that's what makes it. Because there's a lot of diversity in the spiritual world too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's
There is.
all sorts of real wild things that happen, and you've got to really go ahead and pick it apart to figure it out. And that's what really makes it when you find out.
Mm-hmm.
I when we get an opportunity sometime, we'll talk about my stuff that is from northern Wisconsin, because
Excellent.
that's really great. So, are we okay, or do you
Absolutely.
want to? Is there anything else you guys want to mention or anything? I know you're about had it. So,
Yeah, one more thing, and I'm sure Chris would have done this too, and I'll let Chris finish up his part of it. But if you do have any questions, you can reach out to either myself or Chris on Facebook at Chris Hartle or Jamie Lynn Keller or Paranormal Rockdown. Any of those, reach out to us. We'll answer any questions that you have. You can also find me at Paranormal Party Wisconsin. I'll happily answer questions there as well. If you have questions in regards to Broadhead Manor, reach out to Bill directly. Give him some grace because he's doing a lot this year, and he's gone through some pretty emotional times. He recently lost a family member, and he's taking care of the estate and all of that stuff and dealing with his emotions. So give him some grace, but he will get back to you when he can. Okay. And Chris has a team, and he'll tell you about that and how you can reach out to them there. And tickets are at paranormalrockdown.com. We hope to see everybody there. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, you can find me, as Jamie said, under my name, Chris Hartle. Also on the Paranormal Rockdown Facebook page. I'm going to say, if you're trying to contact me through Messenger on Paranormal Rockdown page, for some reason, messages are not coming up. So either contact me on the Chris Hartle one or my team page, Shadow Seekers Paranormal, or just send me an email through the Paranormal Rockdown website and I can respond back to you. But messages are not working on the Rockdown page for some reason. Other than that, as Jamie said, get your tickets now. All the tickets are up there. Only tickets that aren't on there are for the Mike Gagliano comedy thing that you'll make a donation for at the Rockdown, and that'll get you admission into that.
Along with the Cat
Awesome.
Armstrong workshop.
Correct.
That is awesome.
That's a
Kat,
donation thing as well.
I think I know Kat from from the
Paranormal Exposures.
Yeah. So I want to thank you both for being on. If there's something else, add it, please.
Oh, no. Marilyn just pointed out that next week, Wednesday, you'll be able to see us on Para with the Normal on their podcast. So find us there this next week. And also every Sunday so far up until late June, we're on our paranormal podcast Sunday nights at 7 p.m. where we have a lot of our guests. This week we've got Lotus Paranormal and Phantasm joining us. So find us there.
Excited for that one. That'll be a great time. It's always a great time with Annie.
Yep. You guys have a great show
It's
there.
all right, Greg. We're ready.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here. It's awesome having you here, as usual. You know, I can't give you guys enough kudos for what you've been doing for the paranormal community. And, you know, it's number one. You know, there's not a lot of people across the country that could go ahead and come up with anything close to this.
Yeah.
And the location, everything is supreme. So the best.
Thank you for supporting us.
Yes, thanks, Greg. We love it.
And we will see you there. And you guys all have a great evening.
We'll see you June 7th.
Yes, we will see everybody June 7th. And thanks everybody in the chat for being here. If you want to stay for a minute, it's up to you guys.
Yeah.
And I'll just say good night to everybody, Chow Woman, and then everybody else all the way up the line.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. You guys all have a wonderful evening and a great Memorial Day weekend. Have a good one. We'll see you guys. Love you guys. Ha 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 ha.